Picture this, you are studying at Mumbai's most prestigious school और वहां से आप मुंबई के CA हब जाते हो, लेकिन आप क्या करते हो? You end up getting into festivals, Mr. and Miss events. Your grades start falling, and this is exactly where the story began. Welcome to Zero to Zidd1 with Mayank Mishra, your host, where we cover stories of folks who went from 0 to 1. Today, we're going to be talking about Dhruvin Busa, a dude who went to the most prestigious school in Bombay to then getting into nightlife. नाइट इवेंट्स जो लोगों ने सोचे थे कि कभी मोनेटाइज नहीं हो सकते. उसने कॉलेज फेस्टिवल्स किए, वेंट टू अ रियलिटी शो, गॉट ट्रोल्ड, गॉट एलिमिनेटेड, एंड टुडे ही इज ईटी नाइटलाइफ एंटरप्रेन्योर ऑफ द ईयर. ये ऐसा एक जर्नी है जो हमको समझ में आता है कि एग्जैक्टली जिद होता क्या है. सो वॉच द एंटायर पॉडकास्ट विद अस. I should start with Dhruvin Busa, the founder of Catch Experience on our podcast Zero to Zidd1. ये इससे ज़्यादा 0 to 1 story हमारे पास है ही नहीं. Busa, before anything, I was Rakhi for you yesterday.
It was good.
What did you do?
It was fun. So my cousin sisters, they came over. I told them, okay, let's get done with this and let's go have a drink or two. They were like, sure.
Where did you all go for a party?
So we went, we didn't really party last night, but I really took them to my favorite place, Pizza by the Bay in Colaba. And then after that, we went to this place called Wink in Taj, South Bombay, for a drink or two.
Oh, yeah. Nice. You don't have a real sibling, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, nice. Who all are there in your family?
I don't have a real sibling. Means like no girl is unlucky enough to have to tolerate me on a day-to-day basis. Only my mother, you know. Sorry, what?
Who all are there at your house?
It's me, my mom and dad, and Dadi.
Oh, nice, yaar. Proper Gujarati family, yaar. Where do you stay, Busa? Villaparle?
I live in Jew.
Jew?
Yeah.
Yaar, tell me something. How was your experience growing up in a Gujarati house?
Villaparle, but I say Jew. Just for
थोड़ा posh लगता है सुनने में. Why I stay in Jew. What I want to understand is that once you scored 90% in your school, of course your parents would think कि हमारा बच्चा अब NM जाएगा, NM जाके CA बनेगा.
Yes, that's
legit. Because NM is legit that CA hub for people. And then your grades started falling once you entered college. You were doing a lot of Mr. and Miss events. You were participating in a lot of college festivals. What was your family's take on it? How were you dealing with it?
They hated every minute of it. They hated it. They despised it. But the good thing was, my mom especially and my dad, the reason I love them immensely and I will always think of them first before doing anything big in my life,
right,
is because even though as Gujaratis, they never understood what I was doing. They never related to like what I was doing with nightlife, because my dad, he and my grandfather struggled for many years to build a successful pharmaceutical business. Like they have their own factory where they manufacture paracetamol and stuff. My dad has seen real poverty. My grandfather came to Bombay with 500 rupees in 1962 or 63. He used to work as a compounder at a doctor's clinic, my dadu. Because my dada has really struggled, bro. He's lived everywhere from Daisar to Kandivli to everywhere. He's lived for some years in Kandivli in a chawl. Like, it's unbelievable that my grandfather was even able
to actually make 0 to 1.
He did 0 to 1. Wow. I'm nothing compared to my grandfather.
That is 0 to Zidd1.
What my grandfather has left my family with, I can only hope that someday I can exceed what he has done for us. And for me, my father also, by the way, me and my father both. For me and my dad, our grandfather comes first. You know what I mean? Even though I love my dad and like he's a big role model to me and my mom, he does not get offended if I ever tell him that I'm sorry, but I look up to Dadu a little bit more. Because my Dadu just had that fire in him, you know what I mean? I feel like with each generation you have one out of two choices. Either you can be a builder or an architect, or you can be a preserver, you know what I mean? My grandfather, he was an architect. He had nothing to lose but everything to gain. So he built everything. But now when my dad inherited everything, he had me to look after. He had my mom. He had some other relatives also that he had promised to look after. So my dad, unfortunately, life didn't give him the ability to take risks. Okay.
Right.
I had a comfortable life where I never had to worry about like where my next meal is coming from or where I'm gonna stay, and I'm very blessed. I thank God for this every day. It's a lot of gratitude, right? Because when you live in a country like India where you see poverty everywhere around you, it's a blessing, bro, to have what we have.
Same.
So my belief was always simple that it is my responsibility and it's your responsibility to be the greatest in our bloodline for the last 20 generations.
I mean, in my case also, I think I'm that architect in my family where
Correct.
I need to build everything from scratch, and hence Zero to Ziddi comes in.
Yes.
And why I want this
That
story
is
to be
beautiful
out
to
there-
know, bro.
Yeah,
God bless
exactly.
you.
Because you are also being that architect where nightlife in the time when you started, say 2015, 2016, was zero,
Zero.
right? And you've honestly taken it from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Then walk me through that entire phase, Dhruvin. Because look, honestly, most men in India and also abroad, I think, have a very difficult relationship with their fathers.
Sure.
Is what I've heard. How was your relationship and
It
relationship
was
with your father?
surprisingly good because my dad is the complete opposite of me.
Okay.
I'm a very short-tempered, impulsive. I'm a crazy, eccentric guy. My dad is a very polite, poised, classy, elegant man who will not even argue. He will not even raise his voice. एक बार मेरी मॉम चिल्ला देगी, मेरे बाप का मैंने कभी आवाज ऊंचे होते 20 साल में सुना ही नहीं है मैंने. मेरे पे एक बार मेरे बाप ने चिल्लाया नहीं. I'm not kidding. I'm not like just saying this for the
Seriously?
vibes. Never. But that's also because he never had to. My mom took up that responsibility. Okay, and see, I
Good
also
cop, bad cop.
yeah, good cop, bad cop. And also I realized that, you know, my mom also, as a woman, she also wanted to at some point just enjoy her life, okay?
Right.
But because my dad was so soft-spoken and such a polite man, some people would probably take him for granted or take advantage of him. So as a woman, she had to become more masculine and take up those roles and, you know, like fight in places where my dad couldn't fight.
Right.
For example, I remember being 13, 14, bro, I was a kid, I was a bacha. And there was one rickshaw guy who just hit my dad's car and my dad was driving us.
Okay.
He hit us. It was fully his fault. And my dad is like, beta, wo rickshaw wala abhi aayega na, to tu kuch bolna mat. Because he knew I'm like a hyper kid at that time. तो मेरा बाप उसको सॉरी बोल रहे हैं और मेरे को ये देख के लगा कि भाई आप भगवान हो डैड, आपके जैसा सीधा आदमी मैंने लाइफ में नहीं देखा है और मैं तो कुत्ता बना के मारूंगा इसको. और मैंने तो उतर के बहुत झगड़ा किया उसके साथ. And so that's just like a thing with me and my dad where it's like we are completely the opposite.
Yeah, same. North Pole, South Pole for me also. My father was very aggressive in general, where he loses calm, and
Correct.
I am very shant. I'm very
See,
relaxed.
exactly what I'm saying,
मैं
right?
सुनता रहूंगा. I have that ability now that I can listen.
Touch wood. And see, for me also, part of why I became this aggressive and short-tempered and everything, it's also because I always was growing up in an environment where I had too much to prove. You know what I'm trying to say? My dad, he created a system, a life for himself where he didn't have to prove anything to anyone. He's by choice a very solitary man. He loves reading books. That's his only pastime. So he doesn't himself like participating in social environments. Okay, he doesn't have to deal with too many humans.
Does he come to your events?
He's come a few times. Okay, my parents don't drink too much, but recently they tried like beer and wine for the first time with me. And now they, I can say, enjoy wine once in a while with their friends.
So tell me something, that when you come from an upper middle class household, a Gujarati upper middle class household staying in Juhu, when you interacted with such folks, was it not a space where you felt a little inferior, or was there no inferiority complex in you?
No, there was. For the longest time, I would feel very like small. I would feel small compared to everyone around me. In fact, the reason I started nightlife was the nightclub was the only place, or the bar was or the party was the only place where I would not feel small. Because once you're inside the party, everyone's just a human.
So tell me something. You lived in a Gujarati household. So Gujarati household, how was it like growing up?
Yo, it was damn tough, honestly. I'll be very honest with you, brother. As I've grown older, my views have gotten more and more progressive. Okay. So, for example, I grew up in a household. Let me ask you this: you eat meat?
Yes,
you eat
I
non-veg?
do.
Okay. So I didn't eat meat growing up. Okay. Simple example. I know this will probably be a very hot take because a lot of people in our country, their religious sentiments or something will get hurt. But I was a vegetarian. Okay. I'm now a proud non-vegetarian. I converted to being a non-vegetarian. Okay. And I'm never going back because the veg diet was giving me so many gut issues that it seriously affected my health for the last 5 years. Okay. Like I got a lot of gut bacteria and stuff, which only happens to people who have a very high fiber diet, which unfortunately is 80% of the country. 80% of our country has very low protein intake.
Right.
This whole thing, eat dal, it's a myth.
Dal is
It's
the last thing
bunch of
you should need
nonsense.
to consume.
If you want to have the same amount of protein from dal that you get in just 100 grams of chicken. You'd have to get like 2 kgs of dal, brother. That's like a month's worth of dal in like one sitting.
And then it's going to screw with your entire system.
Even with your body mass, you can't consume it.
I can't. I'll try.
And with mine, you definitely can't.
Yeah. For sure. But what was your family's take when you started eating meat?
Oh, bro, they were very against it. They're still against it, but now they've come to a point where they understand. Okay. Because see, personally, because I've grown up in a Gujarati family, I grew up eating veg. So in principle, I really care about the lives even of a chicken, even of an animal. But I've taken this choice because I want to live a good life.
And a longer life.
Yeah, and I mean, if I didn't have this whole digestive issue that developed, by the way, only because of my veg diet, and also especially if you're a Gujarati, unless you're someone who's eating very consciously, who's working out, who is educated on fitness, the diet is not healthy. It has too much sugar, too much starch, too much fiber. It's just not healthy, in my opinion. Okay.
Like, but don't you think that a lot of folks consume whey, soya to make sure that they get their protein intake right and then survive?
Yeah, I mean, see, the issue is not, in my opinion. See, I'm not some fitness expert, okay, but because I've had a very complex issue with my digestive system, I even have to get a surgery. Because instead of diagnosing my correct issue, which was a bacterial overgrowth in my gut, the doctors thought it's some acid reflux issue, so they even did a surgery, and that also didn't solve it. So it was like 3 years of just.
What year was this?
This literally started in 2022.
Okay.
And what happened is, this was until 2024. And obviously now, again, my family being Guju and stuff, all my relatives were like, oh, this is because of your like
nightlife
lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you do nightlife, because you drink, because you like smoke, you do this, you do that. So I quit everything.
So now tell me something. When you're at home, do you eat non-veg at home?
No, not at my place, because of course I have a lot of respect for my parents' beliefs and everything. But I recently moved out and got my own place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you, brother.
But tell me something, Busa. You are building Catch.
You asked me how did I build it? How the journey like? It's been quite a ride, brother. I don't know where to start. I think I was 17 when I promoted my first party. It was, I think, some freshers party at Alibi back in the day. I'm sure you remember this. It was quite a long time ago, dude.
2016.
2016. Yeah. So, and then obviously, like, it was quite a crazy night. I had invited around like 200 people, but 700 people showed up to Alibi, and the cops had to shut our party down.
How do you all handle cops?
That's quite a good topic.
I want to ask you this.
I would say, see, bro, you need to understand that even police, they are also in a way victims to this shitty shitty bureaucratic system of India. Where the police work probably harder than any of us. They deal with criminals, they deal with all sorts of messed up people. Their job is incredibly stressful, you know. It would be very easy for me to just sit here and criticize the Mumbai police, but they are also slaves to a very corrupt system of our like bureaucracy. So I understood 4-5 years back only that these policemen are also under immense pressure, immense stress. So I realized the policemen also have to, like, you know, do crazy work hours while making very low salaries. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm dealing with the police, right, obviously, like, bribing people here and there, that's not really something that's very uncommon. It happens every now and then. But more than the bribing thing, I wanted to make sure that as a 21, 22-year-old kid, what can I do to make the lives of these policemen better? Where they will once in a while allow me to keep a party that's on till late, or they will be a little more understanding when I want to sort of get permissions for a certain thing. So I would talk to them. I would go up to the police office with like food from my restaurant, just out of love, you know what I mean? Not as like a bribe or anything, just out of love. That guys,
sir, ye hum kar rahe
thank you for your service. Just this is my treat. Come to my restaurant sometime. I would even host a lot of like cops for dinners and stuff with their families at my venues, and none of this was with the intention of like greasing their back or anything that, you know, I rub your back, you rub mine. No, it was always genuinely from a place of love and respect. So then once in a while when I would have to, so obviously I've tried to do everything very legally, at least with nightlife. A lot of people break the rules and stuff. I can't do it because the kind of clientele that I have, they're all influencers, celebrities, HNIs, rich people, lawyers, people with political backgrounds themselves. So I can't be doing parties which get into legal trouble because my clientele is very high end. They will not be able to trust me and my events if cops are just raiding one of my venues or
shutting it down.
I can't do that shady type of stuff that some venues do. I always had a good relation with like local cops in Juhu and Bandra and South Bombay, wherever. They've also always been quite helpful with more or less everything.
But tell me what I mean, Musa. I have seen a lot of nightclubs allow people who are 18, 19 get in and have alcohol, and of course this is a practice.
Not anymore, by the way. Especially after the Pune Porsche accident, it's like, and the thing is, see in Bombay, again, Mumbai, you know, always faces the collateral damage of what is happening outside of Bombay. Because the thing is, when the Maharashtra government also wants to improve its image nationwide, they will put these crazy laws only on Mumbai.
Yeah.
Because they know कि मुंबई में लोग काम ही इतना करते हैं ना कि कोई law के सामने protest करने भी वो लोग नहीं निकल सकते. दिक्कत वो है.
But tell me one thing, Musa, with all of these age restrictions coming in, how do you make sure that those barricades are followed at catch events also?
Bro, I mean, we just have to comply, you know. I'm very against it personally. I think you should be allowed to drink at 18, in my opinion. Because honestly, I think what Indians need right now is not a bunch of dumb laws. Young Indians, especially like young adults after 18. I'm personally also against drinking below 18. See, if you want to have a drink or a beer with your friends at 17, do it at your own risk. I personally don't encourage it. That I agree.
Don't do it at catch events also.
Do not do it at my events. I'm very against it. Because I also technically at 17 when I was doing parties, I was not drinking that time. I started drinking at 18, 19, maybe at 21 I properly started consuming liquor.
Tell me something, Busa. 2017 you did your event at Alibi. Okay, you were also 17, 18.
Yeah.
So the legal age is 25. You were 17, 18.
That secret will go to my grave. No comment. No comment on that conversation.
17, 18 you started doing events at Alibi. You were in your SYJC, say 12th grade, right?
Yeah.
12th you started doing events. उसके बाद का
I just started when I was in JC.
JC, हाँ, exactly, SYJC.
16 I just started.
हाँ, 16, 17.
But yeah.
हाँ.
You can't prove that I did anything illegal, guys. I can't prove that I did, so we're gonna have to leave that alone. You know.
Exactly. So you started doing events.
It is just a plausible deniability I shall take. You know.
2017 you started doing parties. 16, 17 you started organizing events. What was that journey like? Because of course people were not very accepting of it. And I think when we also came to college, I think there were 3-4 clubs which we also went to. The Trist, Opa, Yera, Arata. These were 4 Alibi that you went to. TGIF, Vortex, these were like major places.
BSc था, but entry नहीं देते थे बच्चों को.
हाँ, ठीक है, 25 साल का वो ID लेके खड़े रहते थे वो लोग. ठीक है, so these were major places that we went to. How did you make your way into these places कि भाई मैं तुमको event organize करवाता हूँ?
Sure, that was quite a process because the reason. So I told you some stuff a while back that we are in a very niche industry that we created this industry within. Firstly, bro, there was no nightlife scene.
Exactly.
10 years back, there was no nightlife industry. Like how you know me now, you know Mohit, maybe you know Vedant Mahajan of MVM. You know 3-4 people who are like leaders in my industry.
Right.
That time, who was there, bro? Except for those shady pimp type guys that used to promote these clubs and ask you to get 10 girls and stuff, like those cheap guys. There was no one doing this because no one from a good family thought this was respectable to do.
Right.
I only started because I wanted, like, I really liked to party back then. Okay. Now I don't like partying that much, but that's only because I don't have the time for it and I'm done with that part of my life. You know what I mean? I have other ambitions. But I know, like any 17, 18-year-old, I was looking to make friends. I was a lonely kid. I wanted to obviously like meet pretty girls. Who doesn't? I wanted to be respected. I wanted to do something cool. I wanted to do something which will make my friends feel proud of me. You know what I mean?
So you have control in your hands कि तू अंदर जाएगा तू नहीं जाएगा.
Yeah, a little bit of power at that age was quite attractive to a 17-year-old kid. So that's why I started doing these parties, just because I wanted to party and I wanted to make the partying experience good for my friends.
Right.
Okay. But then I realized that I actually was pretty decent at this whole nightlife game because I started making really crazy money before I even knew how to spend it. Because when I started, there were maybe 4 or 5 players in the industry back then who were doing good events or good nightlife or whatever. And then eventually more and more people started getting into it when it became more and more respected. And I'm proud of only one thing. It's that whatever movement Catch Experiences started, me and my friends started. This other company that is owned by my friends, Pranay, Jugal, they started Icarus Entertainment around the same time. Bro, so like these 4-5 players, the impact they have had on the perception of nightlife in Mumbai, hats off to them. Because today a lot of kids are wanting to be DJs because they actually they see opportunity for themselves as a DJ.
Right.
10 years back, even if you were a DJ, bro, where were you going to play? You know what I mean? I remember there was a small phase when Tomorrowland and all became famous, and in college we used to listen to Dimitri Vegas, like Mike, and every kid wanted to be a DJ. But you're not going to learn from some DJ academy in Bombay and play at Tomorrowland.
Exactly.
No one knew how to make that jump, okay? Because abroad, you would have these DJs who would play at clubs in Ibiza, play at clubs in Paris. So that clubbing industry that existed abroad did not exist in India. But now it does.
It does.
I have a dedicated number, by the way, for Catch Experiences, like a Catch Experience phone number.
Okay.
We're the only company which has set up like a concierge service, like a concierge service for nightlife.
Okay.
Like if you're new to Bombay, you don't know where to go, you can just call our Catch number, and Gaurav, by the way, who operates that number, will guide you where to go, how to book a table. You don't have to reach out to shady promoters or find numbers on Zomato. We will sort you out with nightlife. You know what I'm trying to say?
Dude, this is nice.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't think that this is something that a lot of folks in the
no one's done it. Only Catch has done it. And look, there's no one stopping other people from doing it either.
Right.
It's just that currently the concierge service is not something we are monetizing.
Exactly.
We're not making any money from it.
That.
But I tend to, as an entrepreneur, invest a lot of time and company resources into community building. क्योंकि bro देख मैंने 10 साल किया होगा नाइट लाइफ, चल 8 साल किया होगा, मैंने 5 साल एक प्रॉफिट नहीं देखा. मतलब मैं जो कमाता था वो वापस डाल देता था, कभी कभी तो कमाता भी नहीं था. But one thing I was always earning was community, credibility, branding, network.
Your network.
That was never
your network is worth your net worth. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. I agree.
Honestly, I'll tell you something. I never thought that nightlife was this interesting or people would have such deep insights about it. Honestly.
Thank you.
No
bro.
kidding.
See, bro, as an entrepreneur, I have a very different way of like getting things done. Because I'm a lazy guy, okay?
Right.
And I'm not shy about it. I'm just lazy, okay?
Right.
And I don't mean lazy in the sense that I don't like getting things done. I like getting things done with the least effort possible.
Okay.
So I'm always looking for ways to automate my business. For
example.
For example, I was very quick to adopt AI. Like a year and a half back, when most people were still making memes about this,
right.
I took a lot of time to learn how this works. Like I'm really a big nerd about tech and stuff, right?
Okay.
So everyone was taking like paying like 5K, 6K, 7K to a graphic designer to make posters for their concerts or events. I just downloaded and learned how to use Midjourney. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would say I'm pretty decent at like using Midjourney and ChatGPT.
Yeah, I've seen your
posters.
Like they look nice.
Thank you. So I just found a way to use Midjourney, 2-3 other tools to just fully automate my poster design.
Okay.
So as long as someone from my team can just put a good prompt saying that at Mirage or Newmau XYZ event of Catch experiences, like this is the artist playing, this is the genre, bro, I can have an AI tool pump out creators 5 minutes. One creative is ready.
Rather than spending the 300-400 bucks on a graphic designer.
No.
Also not money.
Bro, for a good poster, till date you pay 3 to 5K for sure. If you want to get a video and all, 10K.
Exactly.
So I'm saving a lot of money like that. And also I have a lot of creative control. Because if I call a graphic designer, you work with agencies, so they act like such pricks when it comes to making changes. Bro, now one change I'll charge you extra.
Can't do.
Thank you. I get AI, it does 100 changes for me for free, bro.
Right.
Like, I just pay that subscription every month, that's it. That's my only cost.
Right.
So, I've done that one thing. Also, I have a very small, very limited team. I don't
How big is your team?
It's just 5 people, bro. Considering how... So, my
including founders?
Yeah, me and my founder, Harsh, and 5 people. So, 7 people in total. Yeah. So, the whole idea is pretty much... I have only picked people who bring a very unique skill set to the team. Okay, I don't really get people just to do the manual work. You know what I'm trying to say?
No mazduri.
No mazduri, bro. I don't believe in it. I would never hire someone and make them do it. The corporate founders who have that old mindset, that whole traditional colonial mindset, that whole MNC era mindset, you know. They don't really value the quality of work you do. They just value if you follow the rules, the clock times. I don't understand the logic behind it at all. I think, in fact, as young Indians, it's our responsibility to disrupt that whole industry.
No, but I'll tell you something, Busa, on this. I've been running Grath for the last 18-19 months now. When you give that sort of leeway also to folks, I mean, if you've got 5 people who understand what your company is for, they will make sure that they are in or out and they will produce that time.
Correct.
I've had at least say 30 to 40% of folks have given that leeway to, and they've taken me for granted.
Correct.
जहाँ पे तुम्हारा आने का कोई ठिकाना नहीं, जाने का नहीं, और मेरा work is not getting done.
Work is not getting done.
Exactly. That is exactly where I think that when you have your clock in times, you at least have a discipline set for people.
Sure.
And when you know that there are folks who are performing well, you give that sense of leeway to them. कि भाई तेरे को जब आना तू आ, तेरे को जब जाना तू जा, मेरे को पता है तू काम करके देगा. But with most folks, you need to do it. Exactly. You can't give that sort of leeway to everyone when you're trying to scale.
Sure.
When you're still starting at a nascent level, you've got a very limited team. You can have control over it. When you're right now, I think at Grath you're about 15-17 odd folks, right? So 17 लोगों का मैं control कर ही नहीं सकता.
You can't personally micromanage each and every person.
Like, what have you done? What are you doing? So rather, I'd want them to come in at a particular time and leave at a particular time. And people who are my MVPs, my most valuable players, I'll give you all that leeway. Come, get your shit done, fuck off.
Yeah, bro, you're very right about this. I've also obviously had people who've taken me for granted and stuff in the past. So what I've done is, bro, I've become extremely picky about who I hire. The way I see getting a team on board is that instead of thinking what can he bring to my business, I try and understand their entire portfolio of skills. I try to understand what can I get out of him as a founder. Because I also think as a founder, I'm a bit of a mentor. It's my responsibility to, I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to teach a bunch of people, regardless of their age, the skills that I know that have allowed me to be in this position, and see how they are using those skills to get me certain results. You know what I mean? But bro, more than this idea of like, okay, you get them in at X amount, that makes complete sense when you're scaling.
Right.
If I'm ever in a position where I have to hire someone to hire 100 people for me and help me scale, I cannot expect them to do it my own way. But those 10 people that I will be working with, I will hire them in a way where my first offer to them is an offer that they will never want to reject. Never want to reject. And also the kind of people I've hired, they're all sharpshooters. Because the 5 people that I have, they are all leaders, right? They're all leaders.
Tell me, how did you hire these 5 people? Give me one instance, man.
I'll give you an example. So obviously I don't want to give out names of the people in my team yet, because I'm going to be doing a bunch of press with them soon. So I want people to know them for them. Okay. So one friend of mine, she actually is French. She's going to be moving to Bombay in October and working with us from October.
Okay.
Just bro, it's everyone I've hired, it's all different stories. I've never
one of them, the most unique one.
Sure. So I remember this one guy who is one of my dear. Okay, I'll tell his name. I can tell you. He's been with us for the longest. Name is Gaurav. Okay, he currently he's the head of operations for Catch.
Okay.
So all internal operations, everything is handled by him. Bro, the thing is, he used to actually listen to my podcast during the lockdown. Like he used to listen to
I remember you used to do a lot of podcasts.
And after the podcast, when I started that time I had shut my business because 2 years no clubs or bars were on. So I had also saved up money. So I was just living in Goa, doing my podcast. I was chilling in life. And then again, when I got back into the game, started working, Gaurav used to come to my events at this bar I was managing for a while called Numa, right? In Colaba. He would show up every weekend. Every weekend he would just show up, okay? And initially he didn't have too many friends because he was working in a corporate sector in visas and everything. He knew nothing about nightlife, bro, except for just being a fan of my podcast and listening to me. He knew nothing about even socializing, bro. He had no friends. He was just a lone wolf. He would come alone. And like any other influential person who has friends, they look down upon people like him.
Right.
That abe kaun hai ye? Look, he doesn't know anyone. What value does he bring to me? He doesn't spend money. He doesn't know any girls. Fuck him. Bro, but I didn't see that. The way I value people is their character, their spine, what sort of substance they have. And he would show up every Saturday and he wouldn't have many friends. Okay. And it's not like he was spending too much money or he was super rich or anything. Like I'm just explaining to you. I had nothing to gain from him. You know what I'm trying to say? But just the fact that he was kind enough to show me respect, show my venue respect, and be there every Saturday, 10 p.m. Before any of my fancy crowd also comes, he would come.
And what would he do at 10
He
p.m.
would just come, get a drink, and he was just happy to be there, bro.
Okay.
That touched my heart. You know what I'm trying to say? So eventually I started introducing him to friends, myself, right? Just because I wanted to do that for him. Come meet my friends. I couldn't see him alone anymore. Okay. Bro, what I loved about that guy was, bro, I made him meet his first 10 friends. Sure. Bro, from that 10, he's made 100. I've never seen someone like that. You know what I'm trying to say? And these are all people who are like all rich brats, rich girls, rich guys. Gaurav is from like a proper working class household who himself works very hard and he's made his good career in visas and everything. So he didn't even relate to half these fancy international school people.
Right.
But bro, he was just a guy with good energy. He was giving people good energy. And he managed to make those 10 people I made him meet into 100 friends. And then there were times where my friends would tell him, bro, do you know this Gaurav guy is so cool. I'm like, I was just proud. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mera hi tha.
Nahin, mera hi hai. And then eventually what happened is he came to me a while back saying he's kind of done with like the whole visa thing because he was doing a corporate job for a while. He was like, bro, do you have anything for me like in nightlife? And see, let me tell you once again, what I do is an extremely niche thing. There is no degree. See, end of the day, there's no degree to be a promoter. Then there is no degree also to be an event curator or a company owner. And there is no degree to do what I do, which is essentially I'm like a managing partner in venues where I don't invest my own funds. However, I make sure that the funds invested by another business owner, I give him that return by taking, let's say, 10% of the business. That's called a managing partnership. मैं कल आके तेरे को बोलूँ, bro, give me 10% equity in Graph. Getting you 50 lakhs of business in addition to whatever you're doing is my job. So that way, if you're seeing the value, why not as a founder? And that way, what works out for me is at 25, I don't have to risk too much of my own capital. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Recently, of course, we just got some funding to build our own first project, which I'll tell you about in Juhu. That's our first project. After 9-10 years of working for other people,
And
then working with other people, finally I have my own place in like a few months.
Man, that's big.
Touch wood.
Now tell me
So that's a
something,
big
yaar,
deal.
Busa. You've been...
So then, sorry, just to end this. And then I hired Gaurav. The thing is, he was still maybe, I would say, 7-8 skill levels away from what I would look to hire in someone. Okay? Like, he still had a lot to catch up on. Even the most basic promoter I would think of hiring probably has 2,000 friends.
Right.
But I hired him at his 100th friend because I saw his skill and I was like, yo, this is a guy I want to invest my time in. And I got him on board.
So, Busa, what is your USP according to you? What are you doing different that these folks are not doing?
That's a good question. Bro, I'm an artist. So the thing with Catch, if you're saying what's my USP, we have hands down the most eclectic and curated community of people. Okay. You ever come to a Catch event, you will not just see rich people. You will see rich people, but you will also see artists. You will see few random like desi rappers, like just randomly. You will see like people who are music producers. You will see very creative people at every single Catch experience. It's because I've spent 10 years building these relationships very delicately and maintaining them over time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I know for a fact that if I'm ever associating with a venue as a partner or a co-owner or even doing one night just as an event at that venue, I know that the people I will be able to bring to that venue unmatched. No one can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Other promoter is able to do it.
Bar owner, promoter, or even celebrity can bring, without a doubt. So that's my biggest USP, and no one can touch me there.
Right.
I've always been someone who sees like human beings. Like, see, I work in a very social business.
Right.
Okay? People see the whole idea of being a promoter as just someone who likes to party or just a not very serious profession. I'm very serious about it.
Sorry to cut you on this. When I think of promoters, my logic is very simple. People who drop you broadcast messages or people who put out Instagram stories that, oh, I am hosting an event, come for my event. That is it when I think of them. And then they're taking that 4 or 5 grand for a couple. This is what my
And you know what? You are not wrong because 95% of people are like that. I'm being real with you. That is the whole nightlife industry in a nutshell.
Right.
Promoters, I'm sorry for saying this. If it offends someone, I don't give a fuck, are mostly pimps. Okay?
Right.
And I'm not just saying pimps in the traditional sense. I mean pimps in the sense where they are very transactional individuals. Where only if you show them money, they will be nice to you.
Right.
If you're a girl, only if you're cute, they will be nice to you. Bro, I have never cared about that shit. Ever. I have cared always. That you know about me, right? Bro, I have the same energy with my like delivery guy who comes to give me food at 2 a.m. Same energy with the posh friend of mine whose dad is a billionaire.
You are basically Ranveer Singh of nightlife.
I don't know if that's a compliment. Recently, I'm not feeling a lot of his moves. You know, his whole tacky fashion sense and his stuff. Okay, I'll take it as a compliment. It's a compliment, dude. But okay, he's a good dude, right? He's
of course.
Good to everyone.
Exactly.
In that sense, I agree with that.
But tell me one thing here. You were out partying and of course people around you are drinking, eating, doing everything. How are you controlling that urge to stop?
It was tough. In fact, because I enjoyed drinking. I mean, see, I've always enjoyed a drink or two. Okay, I think everyone should drink alcohol in a healthy amount. I was in Europe for 2 months. How we have certain rituals in India that all the family will sit on one table and eat.
Right.
That's not a religious ritual. That's a social tradition. Social ritual. So in Europe, for example, wine is a part of a ritual. Like it's sacred to them.
Right.
Like you can't like disrespect like. So when someone pours you wine, you have to have it. It's very rude if you don't accept it. Like they actually get offended. And you might be an Indian and think like, yo, this is not morally right. Why would you get offended if I just don't drink? But bro, you need to understand that there's like, just like Indians are 1 billion people, there's 7 billion people who don't think like us. You know what I'm saying? And it took me also a lot of time to kind of accept this reality. You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, one good part about like going to Europe was that even though they enjoy wine here and there, they are not crazy alcoholics. I noticed this is kind of a good part also about India, but a bad part also. We are very intense people. अगर पियोगे तो भाई पूरा खंबा खाली हो जाएगा इंडिया में.
और अगर नहीं पी रहे तो कुछ नहीं पी रहे हो.
नहीं पी रहे तो you're just like भगवान, जय श्री राम. You know, like you're just like super religious.
Right.
So India is a land of extremes. Okay, it's good in a way. It's good.
Right.
Because I always tell my friends in Europe, if you can drive in Bombay, if you can drive yourself a manual car or any automatic car also in Bombay, you can drive on an F1 racetrack for sure, 100%. Because driving on Mumbai's roads, Mumbai pe gaadi chalana, brother, it's the most complicated like automobile navigation. You know, I was with my friends in Paris and I was like racing the car. I had rented a car, nice convertible over there just to chill. I was like, मैं तो दबा रहा था मैं accelerator. They're like, yo, easy. I was like, what? They're like, dude, you'll have an accident. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to an Indian? That also Mumbai ka. मेरा accident, मैं मर जाऊंगा, वो मर जाएगा, मैं नहीं मरूंगा, मैं बचा लूंगा, काट के निकल जाऊंगा. That is such a Bombay thing. काट के निकल जाओ.
तो भूसा यार, while everything was happening, lockdown came in. And after that, you went to Splits.
Bro, I thought this question was not going to come up, man.
You went to Splits. You were with a lot of people, and वहाँ पे लोगों को लगता था कि ये कोई लुक्का 20-21 साल का बॉम्बे का लड़का आ गया.
It is what it is.
Very lightly, and you got into a lot of fights with people over there. You got out of the entire piece. You got trolled for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I did.
What was your take on it, man?
Brother, I have to be honest. It was devastating. Okay, it was a train wreck. Obviously, when I got offered Splitsvilla, I was riding off that wave of success of my nightlife business, which I had built over the last 6 years by that time. I had been running some really successful places like Asilo in St. Regis, Double XO, Numa. Like I was killing it in Bombay.
Right.
So in my head, I was the coolest guy on the planet. In Bombay, I was the coolest guy on the planet.
Right.
But what I didn't understand before signing up for Splitsvilla when MTV offered, look, this is a completely different show where different skills are valued. Your fitness is valued way more than your personality. Right. Honestly, let's be real about it.
It's many roadies.
I'm not gonna like insult people who have done Splitsvilla and roadies because bro, they have fitness which I didn't have that time. You know what I mean? And I was the most unathletic guy on the planet when I signed up for that show. In fact, I was just recovering from a very rare. So you know, on the show, obviously, I got trolled for being a skinny guy, being lukha, whatever.
Right.
In college, you remember there was a point where I had a decent physique. Like I was very
you got muscular.
So now, just for some context, which I'm adding 2 years later, I never even cared to address this. So the reason I was this skinny on Splitsvilla, 2 months before that, I had gotten operated on my food pipe for a very rare disorder, which I told you a while back. It was a very rare disorder called achalasia, where the food pipe gets a bacterial infection, and it just is the worst thing that can happen to you. So 1 year before doing my Splitsvilla episode, I had been on a liquid diet for 1 year. Imagine 4 meals a day, only liquids, no solid food, because I couldn't swallow it. You know what I'm saying? So actually, when I did that show, I was under the influence of really like high dosage antibiotics, really crazy, not those like gym steroids, not anabolic steroids. I was corticosteroids. It's a different type of drug. So bro, these really make you have mood swings. Okay, these make you even skinnier. So the thing is, when I had agreed for the show 6 months back, I was still very fit, healthy. My mindset was in a very good place. By the time I signed up and I did the show, bro, like I was a shadow of my former self. That's all I can say. Okay. And the thing is, people on that show, the other guys who come on that show, and the other girls that come on that show, they're all there to make something for themselves. They're not there to like be your friends or, you know, to be nice to you or to be kind to you. They have no reason to like just support you or whatever. It's a survival of the fittest. I was the weakest. There's no excuses. I want to just get it right off the bat that when I did Splitsvilla, physically, in terms of fitness, I was the weakest link. Okay. I might not have been the weakest link mentally. I probably might have been one of the most intelligent people on the show. But bro, it is not a KBC. It is a Splitsvilla. I knew what I was getting into. So it was fully my bad. So obviously, everyone in my season saw me as the weakest link. And I like to believe not many people in my own season had much respect for me. Okay. Because they just saw me as just a weak, unfit guy, and they were like, okay, maybe they were very cruel to me while the cameras were on. No one was cruel to me when the cameras were off. Most people in my season were very nice to me off the camera. Okay, but the thing is, when they came to Bombay, when they wanted to go out party in Bombay, then they understood who the fucking Top G was. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me, no regrets and no hard feelings towards anyone in my season, because And I'll be honest with you, for 1 year, even when a lot of people in my season would hit me up wanting to connect, because a lot of them were not Bombay people. They wanted to move to Bombay to build their life. In Bombay, I was at that time operating 3 to 4 of the hottest bars and clubs. I had access to the best influencer events, corporate events. I basically was the guy who knew a guy for everything in the city, like the ultimate plug. So a lot of them tried to reach out, but
because again that inferiority complex I had as a skinny boy in school and college got triggered massively, bro, massively.
Yeah.
I was so depressed after my season came out. I was just like regretting doing it in the first place. But then that just made me so fucking hungry that, dude, no way, a bunch of people, treat me like this,
Right.
like shit. You know what I'm trying to say? There's no way I let a bunch of people treat me like this. And again, I don't want to say anything mean towards them because I have truly nothing bad against anyone in my season.
Right.
Not even any of the guys that I had a fight with. A bigger man, a better man doesn't let that affect him. I was letting all those things affect me. Anyone will make a joke about how skinny I am, I would retaliate and abuse him and talk about how much money I make, and I was very defensive, bro. And when you show people this defensive, reactive behavior, that's when they start taking you as a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? Lightly.
Even you there to find true love, though.
Boys, I was there to find true love, bro. Are you mad or what? If I wanted to find true love, why the fuck will I go to Splitsvilla?
Why were you there?
वहाँ तो सबसे fake love मिलेगा भाई. True love थोड़ी मिलेगा वहाँ पे. Bro, I'll be honest, I was there because and even the moments where I'm telling on the camera, I'm here, मैं यहाँ प्यार तुमने, it was all cap. It was all a bunch of shit I was saying, guys. So I'll be honest, I don't know if Splitsvilla is scripted or no. I was still scripting my own scene fully, so I'll just complain about that. I have come to terms with the fact that I failed. Bro, who in their right mind does Splitsvilla only to get eliminated in 2 episodes? No one.
I was there for how many days?
Bro, I was there for bro, that's so depressing. I was there for the shoot was 3 weeks. मैं 2 week उनके बंगले में रहा हूँ, but मैं सिर्फ 2 episode में रहा हूँ भाई. Because even after you get eliminated, they have to keep you in the accommodation, in the villas and stuff for a couple more weeks, so that you don't go and leak the details till the shoot is finished. There's some code like that.
Yeah.
तो भाई मैं इतनी बीटी में चला गया हूँ भाई कि मैं 2 episode में eliminate भी हो गया हूँ, और ये सारे contestants से दूर कोई अनजाने बंगले में इन्होंने मुझे डाल दिया है भाई 1 हफ्ते के लिए. मैं पागल हो रहा हूँ भाई वहाँ पे.
Did you have access to your phone though?
No. वो भी 1 week के बाद मिला है.
तो भाई किया क्या अकेले?
Bro, let's not go there. मैंने ना like a caveman, like Tarzan, मैंने कुछ ना कुछ चुतियापा किया, time निकाला मेरा वहाँ पे. But that 1 week, bro, was the toughest week. In fact, the week on Splitsvilla while I was shooting was not that tough. That 1 week was very tough because, bro, you're alone in a villa. You still don't have your phone. And the thing is, bro, what do you say? I was just forced to reflect on my failures intensely. It's like I couldn't escape my failure even for a second. You know what I'm trying to say? That
So
just
what
like,
are your realizations then?
So
इसके
much.
बाद क्या?
Bro, so I still hadn't figured that out till I came back to Bombay. But I did realize one thing that I didn't want to do ever again. A reality show, for sure.
Right.
Ever. Because till I did Splitsvilla, college में जब हम लोग थे, हम भी वो time पे याद है MTV देखते थे. We also used to watch it and think, wow, like these are such cool people, you know, maybe one day we can be like them.
Right.
I always had that dream in my mind when I was doing all this Mr. and Miss NM, Kshitij, whatever.
Times Fresh Face.
Fresh Face, I won Times Fresh Face. So everyone saw this as the natural next step for me, that someday Busa is gonna have a social media career, or he's gonna be an actor or an influencer. Everyone thought this.
Right.
I thought this at some point, right? But then I realized that, dude, you know what? I do have certain skills like the charisma or confidence or certain like traits that would make an actor or an influencer special.
Right.
But that's not my real skills. Like the way I look, or the way I talk, or my sense of humor, sure, they are things that help me talk to certain people, but they are not things I want to monetize at all. What I want to monetize is my ability to build empires.
You basically want to be the king maker and not the king.
I don't exactly. I precisely realized this, and it was the biggest life-changing moment for me. Because till that time, even though I had made a lot of money in nightlife and I was very successful, I still didn't think I would make a career in nightlife. I understood that, dude, instead of trying to be a jack of all trades, कि ये podcast भी करता है, clubs भी करता है, parties भी करता है, Splitsvilla भी किया है, मेरे को नहीं करना है 10 चीजें, bro. I just want to zero down on the one thing I am unmatched at. I'm the absolute goat at, and that is fucking building clubs, creating bars, building communities, throwing the best parties, showing people how to live their life, building businesses. That's what I want to do.
That's exactly what you've become Ziddi about.
That's what I've become Ziddi about, precisely. So my cataclysmic failure in Splitsvilla became the biggest turning point in my life.
What is your 0 to Ziddi moment, Busa, in life? That one moment कि यार अब मेरे को लग रहा है मैं 0 to Ziddhi हो गया भाई.
That moment where a flick inside you just switched.
Yes.
Bro, that was my moment when I got knocked out of Splitsvilla and I was like made to feel like the biggest loser on the fucking planet when everyone in my friend circle in Bombay laughed at me. Because bro, see, my friends in Bombay are really like fancy people. They look down upon shows like Splitsvilla. I'm being honest with you. The circle we've grown up with in Bombay,
Exactly.
they even asked me, yuck bro, Busa, you're a classy guy. Why would you do a cheap show like Splitsvilla? यहाँ तो ये सब North Indian छपरी लोग आते हैं. तूने क्यों ये सब किया? So they already were judging me. So bro, that moment I realized, fuck this. Fuck trying to be a jack of all trades. I want to be a master of one. You know what I'm trying to say?
Nightlife it is.
I want to embrace the one thing I am fucking good at. It's okay that I'm not the most fit guy in the gym. I realized that these famous people were friends for me exactly for that reason, that I was not famous. So I realized that, dude, I am such a fucking idiot. These people who are famous or rich, who I look at and I used to always think, fuck, I can only truly be at peace in my life if I will have this level of fame. I was very like hungry about fame before Splitsvilla.
Right.
And then after I got absolutely pulverized and destroyed, maybe for 1-2 months I thought, okay, I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna be one day more famous than all of them. You know what I mean?
have a million followers.
Million followers, bro. That's all I was thinking of every day. And I was so unhappy. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And then I realized with time that as more and more seasons of Bigg Boss and Splitsvilla came, people kept forgetting about the people in the previous seasons. As more and more movies came out, people kept forgetting about the actors from the 90s, from the 80s. I realized the thing about fame is it's such a fickle thing. You get to touch fame for some time, but it slips out of your hand.
That's true.
But wealth, community, impact in society,
your network,
genuine respect that you have on people, your network, your net worth. Dude, these are more or less permanent things that will stay with you for life.
Right.
And I decided that's what I want to invest on building. And by default, because I did that, my first project after the show was Numa, where I went from before the lockdown, before the show, doing management for a fee to being a managing partner. So that was a big upgrade. Okay,
so that was a 0 to Ziddhi.
See, that was a 0 to Ziddhi moment. And then even bigger upgrade with Miraj, and now I've gotten funded recently, and I'm expanding the scale of my business. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that your distribution now is important for you while you want to build in the nightlife industry?
Bro, honestly, yes. If now, in fact, now that I've managed to create a decent amount of structure for myself, set up a business, I would love to invest more time into podcasting again, like I was doing before. But you know what's cool is, bro, now getting famous is not going to be a goal. So the whole idea of doing it will not have so much pressure. I'll be able to create more freely. I'll be able to make 100 episodes without being exhausted.
Right.
Because I don't care if
it's for fun.
It's for fun. It's just something I love to do. Like I truly don't care about like followers anymore.
It's a co-curricular activity.
It's just something I do as a release of my creative energy. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for being a bit arrogant, but I want to be bigger than this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want to be the guy who fucking never has to dance to make $5 in his life, brother. Like, no chance.
You'd make people dance. People love hoarding money after a point. If today, hypothetically, you end up making 100 CR or I end up making 100 CR, I think 1% of it is going to be for philanthropy to help out folks get a better lifestyle, but 99% is going to be with us.
Sure.
That is inevitable.
But I hate that mindset, and only Indians have that mindset. In America, I'll give you an example of some billionaires who I really look up to. Warren Buffett has already signed a deal. Bro, he's the richest man, one of the richest men in the world. His net worth is 150, 180 billion. Like, he owns the GDP of like 10 countries as one person. He signed away 99% of his wealth to charity. Because he knows in principle, what are you going to do with all that money? He doesn't have any kids, of course, that helps. If he had a kid or if he had a family, he would have to like give away 80-90% of his wealth.
Right.
Sure.
Or a divorce.
But bro, that is how I think. I would love to someday have a family. Yeah, okay, whatever. Sure. I would love to someday have a family, but I would still like to make this very clear with my future kids that if I've made 1,000 crores in my life, maybe I'll leave 100 crores for you. 90% goes back to the people. The people have given me this money, so I will give you this money right back.
So you are saying that if you end up making 1,000 CR, you're going to give say 10% of it to your kids so that
Sure.
they live a better life,
Yeah.
and then 90% goes back to the society.
Yeah, because also, honestly, giving my kids 1,000 CR is probably the worst thing I could do because that's not teaching them any lessons, bro. Okay,
We've all come from zero, yeah. I
We
think
come from
that's
zero.
exactly why we are on zero. To
I'm
zero.
lucky. I've grown up in a very comfortable home. We
Likewise.
relatively had a comfortable life compared to a lot of other people.
Right.
But I don't think I was ever like as rich as like the friends I
Same,
was hanging out
same,
with.
likewise.
So I always knew this in my head that I have to outsmart them, outwork them to kind of have the same
Likewise.
lifestyle. And now that I'm at that level where I'm living a very good touchwood, very good lifestyle.
Likewise.
It's been quite a journey. I've been able to make life even more comfortable for my parents, which I'm very happy about. But though my thing is, I want to do it for a lot more people. Okay.
Right.
And you won't really see me talk about this stuff like on my Instagram or something.
Your Instagram is very aesthetic for people.
I don't believe in like making my Instagram a political platform because I'm a simple guy. People follow me because they think I'm a cool person. They like my parties. They like my club. I don't want to blast them with my politics for no reason because they didn't sign up for that. Okay.
They signed up for a nightlife.
They sign up for the nightlife. It's simple. I respect why you're here. I will provide you what you're looking for. End of story.
Right.
One very big thing that I always wanted to do, and I will eventually do in 5-10 years, hopefully.
Right.
I really wanted to improve the quality of like jobs of like service staff in India.
Okay.
I'm very, very passionate about that specific issue. Okay.
Okay.
For example, in India, you go to a good club and stuff, you should see how the rich people on the big tables treat waiters. They treat them like garbage. They treat them like slaves.
Exactly.
I hate it. I hate it.
Right.
I've literally had fights with my friends when they've come to one of my parties or one of my venues. Brother, your daddy might have X amount of money. You're in my fucking establishment. You treat my staff like they're below you. I will send you packing quicker than you came in. So
Right.
at my places, everyone
crazy,
knows.
dude.
Of course, at my place, people know that you can't just have respect for me. You have to respect my bartenders. You have to respect my servers. You have to respect my janitors. None of them are below you just because they are serving you.
Yeah, Busa, tell me something. Now, I am someone who works from Monday to Saturday. Okay? Very extensive work. I start working by say 9 in the morning till 10, 11. I think I have reached a space or age in my life कि मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि दिन खत्म हो गया. I should sit with my friends with a drink at home, get some music playing in the background. I would not want to essentially go to a club जहाँ पे मेरे को पता है कि oh shit, for getting the drink, I need to stand in a
You have to
queue.
wait for 20 minutes.
Exactly, dude. And the music is so loud, you can't talk to people. I think I am not meant for that vibe. So now with everything that you are doing with Catch, how are you getting people to go to the club? People like me especially.
Got you. Bro, that's such a good thing you pointed out.
Yeah.
Just let me tell you, as someone who's been partying for 10 years
Exactly.
myself, I hate going to the club. I despise it. okay?
Exactly.
If you see my Instagram, you will think it's a huge advertisement
Right.
for just nightlife industry in general. But I personally don't participate in that industry anymore myself.
Right.
I have people who run the business for me on Fridays and Saturdays. See, bro, it's a normal thing that happens with age.
Right.
When you're younger, you care about things like social status, about being
Exactly.
accepted in society.
Huh.
If you're a man or a woman, regardless, you want to find a potential partner for the future.
Right.
You have certain aspirations. So I would say only one thing to you, bro, that even though we're very good friends and I'm going to be starting more clubs and more bars in the future, my establishment's doors are open Monday to Sunday. So you don't need to come on a Friday or Saturday when it's super busy. You are welcome to come to my place Monday to Thursday when it's not so busy, where you can chill with your friends, sit, have a drink. Service will be immaculate. There's no rush. There's no loud music blasting your eardrums. So you can actually sit, chill, and talk, have a conversation. That's what I love doing also, right? Even
Exactly.
if some weekends where it's important for me to physically be there, I have some celebrity friends coming in, some influencer friends, some important guests coming that I have to
Right.
personally look after.
Right.
I'll chill with them, have one drink, and I'll be home in bed. Simple.
Busa, tell me something. If today there's a 17-year, 18-year-old guy or girl who's just getting out of college or is still in college, they want to enter the nightlife scene as a promoter or whatever you have done, get anywhere close to that. What would their plan of action look like?
Bro, it's pretty simple. I would say, firstly, just make sure you're extremely social to a point where I don't think I was social at one point just because I liked meeting people. It was almost like I was socializing like a machine, like a man who was possessed. You know what I mean? It became so ingrained in my DNA that if I was at a club, at a bar, I was just talking to anyone and everyone possible. You know what I mean? And you know what? I don't really want to sit here and give you tips on how to make friends or talk to people because my tips will never apply to anyone else but me. There's a certain set of things that make my personality unique.
Yeah.
So whatever skills I have had to develop to socialize, have been developed keeping my personality in mind. Okay. For example, a person like me who's interested in politics or history, my skills of socializing will not apply to a person who's interested in art or music, because you know what I mean. So my only advice to you would be, just please force yourself to talk to as many humans as possible, and do not just talk to people based on their class or their net worth or whatever. Just talk to anyone and everyone, because believe me when I say this, the brain is like a supercomputer. Without realizing, even when you're socializing, you're doing these very complex calculations in your brain, where at this point I already know what a person is going to ask me in the third question, while I've only started asking the first thing. Like, I already know the entire map of that conversation.
Exactly.
For example, if I see a celebrity at a club or a venue or at any corporate event, I already know how I want to socialize with them. I know how to get them to follow me on Instagram within 2 or 3 minutes of just talking to them.
Right.
I know what my value proposition to them is. I know what their value proposition to me is. And I've only obviously understood this by failure. I've only ever learned by failure. Right. I've never learned by reading a book or something. So I've only ever learned through practice. You know what I'm saying?
You just need to be at it.
And you know, the thing is, I've noticed one thing, like, even when you're talking to someone who might not be from your same social background, see, it's always intimidating to talk to people who are richer than you, more famous than you, who have more social status than you. It's always more difficult. Okay, I understand. Bro, it's because you need to come to a point where you understand that if this person is rich, and either someone is rich or famous or attractive, or you're rich and famous, and attractive, or you're rich and famous and attractive. But you could be rich and famous and attractive but have no social skills. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
For example, I know what my skills are. I know that besides my social skills, I'm incredibly good at scaling businesses, at helping people with their personal branding, their personal marketing. For example, give you an example, right? As an 18-year-old, how do you socialize with a complete stranger who probably is richer than you, more famous than you, older than you, more attractive than you, is even smarter than you? Find one thing. Take an hour to think. You're sitting at a party, you're seeing a celebrity. Take an hour to just think, what is one thing that I can give this guy that he can never get from anyone else? There will be something. If you dig deep enough, there will be something.
That's true.
There will be something. And here's again one more thing. See, just meeting people and talking to them is not enough. You need to be grooming yourself and teaching yourself skills also in that whole time.
But I'll tell you something, as a founder, Busa, it is very important that you hone every single skill.
Correct.
Sorry for my language, but
you're right.
Today, for example, if I do BD, I do business development, I'm talking to a lot of folks, and I have a team of BD, मुझे कोई चूतिया नहीं बना सकता.
Correct.
Okay, I have spoken to so many people, I exactly know what the flow is going to look like. If I ask someone from my ops team to go out there and negotiate with an influencer, I exactly know कि इसका price किधर तक आ सकता है. तो उसमें भी तुम मेरे को चूतिया नहीं बना सकते. In your case also, if you know exactly how you want your flyers to look like, how you want an entire conversation to go like, you know it because you've done it from scratch. You've done it from zero.
Precisely.
So it gets very easy to train your team, even if they're failing, to tell them that this is the right direction where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
I think this is something which is also missing with a lot of founders.
Sure.
Because they sit as if they are the coach of the team, but they forget that they're supposed to be the captain also of the team.
Correct. And
there you have to
and more than the captain or the coach, they need to remember they are also players.
A player,
they'll always be players. They'll always be the team.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, they don't want to work with founders because they want to just look at them from a distance and obey their orders.
Yeah.
They want to know that, they want to feel that thrill of working with them in the field.
How is your ET Nightlife Entrepreneur of the Year award changing your career from here, and what is the next step from here for you?
See, bro, to be very honest, no award is changing shit for me.
Right.
Only I'm changing shit for me.
Exactly.
This award is just a small milestone that I'm proud to have accomplished. The only reason I applied for it also a while back and I went through the whole process of getting nominated and everything, it's not because this award is automatically bringing more investment into my company, or it's not because this award is making me famous or anything. It's just that I wanted to win this award for that 17-year-old kid in me who no one would take seriously because they thought he's just a promoter or he's just like a socialite, with no other substance to him. I wanted to show everyone in the world, in my own family who doubted me, that, dude, if you do something long enough, no matter how niche it is, no matter how crazy people say it is to do this, you do it long enough, hard enough, well enough, you can make a man out of yourself. You can make something meaningful out of your life with it. 9 years back, no one could have imagined My parents couldn't have, bro. I couldn't have imagined I would win an award for nightlife, bro. I didn't know an award for nightlife existed.
Exactly.
But today, every 17, 18-year-old kid who follows me, 19, 20-year-old who follows me sees, whoa. So for me, it was just a thing I wanted to like have to sort of, like, it was almost like that award was, applying for that award was my way of like, seeking recognition for a profession that no one recognizes. You know what I mean? But I recognize it, and I want the future generation of kids to dream big, and I want them to take risks, and I want them to start restaurants. I want them to start event companies. I want more promoters to come.
So what is going to come up next business-wise from here, Busa?
So see, bro,
Investments in.
our path is very simple.
Yeah.
I've understood one thing, that my main skill is not nightlife. My main skill is I know how to create fun experiences for human beings.
Right.
Understanding humans is my greatest skill. Like, I could sit with a person in a room for 5-10 minutes, no matter how complicated they are. I will find common ground with them, no matter who that person is. So now I don't want to just use that skill for creating nightlife-centric businesses. I'm investing in a couple of run clubs. I'm investing in a few coffee and matcha businesses.
Okay.
I'm thinking of getting into coffee shops. I want to eventually finance art galleries. Any space that people can go to have an experience and meet other people, I want to have a piece of that pie. So someday, I envision in 10 years, Catch Experience being a conglomerate which owns 50 nightclubs, but also 50 gyms. In the morning also, you're going to come to me and you're going to pay me for a gym membership. The coffee you will drink will also be owned by me, and the club you buy your alcohol will also be me. So any social experience, I want to structure it and monopolize it under one umbrella. That is the goal with Catch Experiences. That's the goal now.
Man, this was crazy. Thank you so
My
much
pleasure,
for
bro.
being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Also, before we end this, when we were back in college and everyone seen you do this one thing, which
Yeah.
is beatboxing.
Ooh.
Mr. and Miss, any event that you go to, it is always Busa coming and beatboxing.
I knew this was coming.
We're waiting for this, yaar, Busa. I mean, everyone in the studio is waiting for it. Chal.
So for me, it was a pleasure to do this.
Thank
bro.
you so much,
Thank you for
Busa.
having
This
me.
is Zero to Zidd1 for us. Thank you so much. I don't think that I ever knew that the nightlife was this sorted and getting so organized. I always thought it was a single promoter going out there and asking people to come to events. Dhruvin here has built a company out of it. And trust me, it is way beyond imagination for most folks. A guy who was in CNM, a school topper, to going to a CA hub. And he's built a lifestyle out of it. Someone who's seen failure so closely and has had a zero to Ziddi. If you've got folks in mind who've gone from zero to Ziddi and are still living by that Ziddi culture, please let us know. Dhruvin is a prime example of that. If you've liked the episode, please go like, share and subscribe right now.